As explosions and gunfire thundered outside, Sudanese in the capital Khartoum and other cities huddled in their homes. Sudan, located in the northeast region of Africa. Sudan, known for its pyramids numbering roughly 200 more than Egypt, as well as for its large coastline of about 900 kilometers. It is also famous for its proximity to the Red Sea, the confluence of the River Nile. Sudan has a history of instability. The military toppled longtime leader Omar al-Bashir in 2019 after mass protests. It then overthrew a power-sharing government in 2021, putting two men at the helm. The head of the army and his deputy, who is also the head of a paramilitary group called the RSF. They disagree on how to restore civilian rule to Sudan. The RSF leader claims to represent marginalized groups against the country's elites, but his forces were accused of ethnic cleansing. The fighting remains underway, Atir Abdullah Atir of the Sudan Doctors Syndicate told the Associated Press. We are hearing constant gunfire. At least 200 people have been killed and over 1,800 wounded since the fighting erupted. As well as reports of United States diplomatic convoy fired on as intense fighting continues between rival forces. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told reporters Tuesday. He called the incident reckless and irresponsible. Blinken, who is in Japan for a group of 7 foreign ministers meeting, said a convoy of clearly marked U.S. embassy vehicles came under fire and that preliminary reports indicate the attackers were linked to a powerful force fighting with the Sudanese army for control of the country for a third consecutive day. He said everyone in the convoy was safe and at home. A contingency planning for U.S. personnel in Sudan was underway with interagency partners, the State Department said Tuesday in a statement to CBS News. The State Department also said that the Khartoum airport remains closed and that there are no plans for a coordinated evacuation of American civilians, who are still advised to stay indoors and shelter in place. In a joint statement Tuesday, the G7 foreign ministers condemned the fighting. We urge the parties to end hostilities immediately without preconditions, it said, calling for them to return to negotiations and reduce tensions. Heavy gunfire and the roar of warplanes have shattered plans for a ceasefire in the Sudanese capital Khartoum, which was due to start at Tuesday 1600 Greenwich Mean Time. So how does this conflict affect you? With increasing overall global instability, with the war in Ukraine creating not only humanitarian crisis but also an energy crisis. Tensions rising as China inches closer to provoking the country of Taiwan. In an attempt to show dominance, the BRICS nations trying to weaken the dollar, along with multiple banks failing and rising inflation. All these factors contribute to extreme fears in the stock market, scaring investors to part ways with their money and citizens doubting rather to save money or spend it. One thing is for certain. It appears things will get worse before they get better.